Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Verse number 60 of the chapter Al-Baqarah, second chapter of the holy book of Quran, is saying, وَإِذِ اسْتَسْقَى مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ فَقُلْ نَضْرِبْ بِعَصَاكَ الْحَجَرَ فانفجرت منه اثنتا عشرة عينا قد علم كل أناس مشربهم كلوا واشربوا من رزق الله ولا تأسوا في الأرض مفسدين. This is another episode, another part of that journey of people of Israel with Moses. They traveled that long from Egypt to Palestine, and now they enter a city. And what that city was, it is not mentioned, and we are not our purpose is not to find that what was that city and which was whatever the city it was here in Palestine, and they came here, and now they were living here, and now after living a while, or naturally, when they came with this big number, like 500,000 or 600,000 people in a city, of course it will happen that most of the things they will be in shortage, and the arrangement which is already in that city, it is not sufficing all of them. Though Allah in previous ayat and verses said kulu, and we should be aware that Allah is so delicate and so vigilant in expressing and in usage of the words. In the previous ayat, Allah did not mention washrabu, only said wakulu. Allah's given them food, and water was enough that they could live with that, and it was not as they needed, not enough, only for a we can say suitable livelihood. They had water, and they used it with so much facing shortage of it. But food was enough. Food was not something. For this very reason, Allah said kulu, kulu, kulu min tayyibat. But here the shortage of water came to an extent that now people said to Moses that we need water. Water is not enough, and we are feeling the hardship of not having enough water for our drinking or for our other needs. So here Moses, as it was a routine, I think, that he extended his hands towards Allah and said, "Oh Allah, give us water, and these people are wanting water, and water is short here." So Allah is saying that Allah accepted the demand of Moses, and he said to Moses that there will be another miracle for you and for these people, and you hit your staff, and the wood that he had in his hand to hit it the stone there, and there will be 12 we can say 12 foundations, fountains, sorry, for not foundation, fountains 12 fountains. Sometimes words goes from the mind, but here it means fountains. 12 fountains gushed out, means an abundance of water there was from every fountain. And why there was 12 of them? Of course, it was the reason was very clear that there were 12 tribe, and as the descendant of 12 son of Jacob, Prophet Yaqub had 12 sons, and every one of those sons had his descendant and children, and all of them were we can say separate identity they had, and they were not mixing with each other, and they had all of them special term in their own, and they did not mix with another, and even they did not share with each other for this very reason. So Allah gave them 12 fountains that every one of them go to their own, and there should not be any conflict or any differences on this matter of water. So Allah is saying in verse number 60, وَإِذِ Musa. Here is istasqa Musa, and the verb which is used here for this demand of Prophet Moses is istasqa. Istasqa. Saqa is the origin of the word, and here it is istasqa. Hope it means that this thing happened with a struggle, with a strife, with a hardship that was taken. It means that Moses had Prophet Musa had to do so much demand and so much request to Allah, and it was not done by just one time request. Is this tasqa? So he tried it, and he asked it and asked it, and then Allah gave that. وَإِذِ Musa liqawmihi, and Allah asked for water and for something that can quench their thirst. Quench their thirst. فَقُلْ نَضْرِبْ. So we said, if this is the condition that you need water, it means that Allah gave them at the first time a suitable level of the water, and they could live with that. They could live with that. But there were people that they did not live in their limits, and they wanted to have things with abundance, and as they were habitual with that because of the abundance of blessing of Allah on them, so they said here that no, this water is not enough. Here another thing is mentionable, and that is that they were living on the shore of a river, or some shore of sea, a bank of sea, as in some other event telling verses. They say that they were living on the bank, this city was on the bank of a sea, or on the bank of a river, but how it was that they could not have enough water for drinking and for other usage, it is not known. Maybe this is a story of another city, or whatever. I think they were on the brink of, or on the shore of a sea, but the water of sea, maybe it was not a water that could be used for drinking or something like that. There was something, and we have to have in mind all those things so that we can understand the thing better. وَإِذِ Musa asked for water for his people. فَقُلْنَا, we said to him, أَضْرِبْ بِعَصَاكَ الْحَجَرَ, your staff which is in your hand, hit it on that rock. So of course he hit the stuff on different rocks. Fanfajarat minhu, maybe minhu, the pronoun is singular, right? It shows that rock was one rock, maybe a big rock or a big part of mountain that all is rock. Moses hit it with once, and 12 of these fountain gushed from that out, and water coming from started to come from that fountain. Isnata asharata aina, and those fountain were starting to give water, and water was running from them. Kad alima kullu unasin mashrabahum. And here Allah is saying that it was set very clear to them and given the ilm and knowledge to everybody that what of or which of the fountain will be for them. So every people, here Allah said unas means every group knew which of the fountain is for them. It means that this thing had been decided before. They sat down, and things were decided before or after that. Both of them can be. Things were decided that which of the fountain will be for which group. So kad alima kullu unasin mashrabahum kulu washrabu. Allah is here. Allah is saying that kulu washrabu, eat and drink. In the previous verses, Allah did not say kulu washrabu, only said kulu. Here Allah is saying kulu washrabu min rizqillah. This is the provision of Allah. Eat and drink. Eat and drink. But one condition should be in mind all the time, and that is wala ta'saw fil ardi mufsidin. But do not be corrupt people. Do not be of those who do evil. Do not be of the wrongdoer people. That is what Allah says again and again, because when some some people have abundance in the provision of Allah, they go corrupt, and that is very, very common thing that happen all the time. When people have abundance in provision of Allah and Allah's blessing are given to them abundantly, people go corrupt in the land. And Allah expressed it in another ayah, another verse, and we saying that وَلَوْ بَسَطَ اللَّهُ الرِّزْقَ لِعِبَادِهِ لَبَغَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Allah clearly told that if Allah expands the provision to the people and gives them as they want, they will be corrupt in the land and they will make corruption. And to keep them in limits, Allah put limits on His provision. Otherwise, for Allah it is not any limit to give people, and He will not be devoid of anything if He or depletion is not there in the book of Allah. So Allah can give and give so much to everybody, but He puts limits because man cannot limit himself. Here it is the end of this part, and now from next ayah another episode is starting of the story of people of Israel. Inshallah we'll do it next. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you all.